Are you having trouble with your sleep, either having a hard time falling asleep, staying asleep, or even when you wake up have bad quality sleep? Well, I just recently took a neuropharmacology class where I learned a lot about sleep disorders and how sleep actually works. So I'm gonna actually share with you guys 8 reasons why you actually are having bad quality sleep, and hopefully you can implement some changes in your lifestyle to have better quality sleep in the future. Let's get into the video. So the first thing could be affecting your sleep is actually the amount of light in your room. There's actually a very important neurotransmitter or brain messenger in your brain called melatonin. Everyone's heard about it, melatonin gummies or supplements. And melatonin is actually crucial for sleep. When it's activated, it makes you tired and drowsy and helps you fall into sleep. But the thing is, melatonin is actually inhibited by light. When light hits your eye, it can actually inhibit the melatonin production, which can then keep you awake or feeling less tired. So it's very important to actually reduce the amount of light in your room. One thing I would always recommend is getting some blackout curtains, something to block out the street lights or the patio lights or whatever lights are outside your window, block them out so your room stays darker. Another thing I'd also recommend is if you have an alarm clock, I recommend you either turn off the screen or you can cover it up with a towel. That way you don't have that light keeping you up at night. Another thing you can do is when you're about to get ready for bed, you can dim down the lights. Reduce the amount of lights in your bedroom, in your apartment, whatever it is, just to kind of prepare your brain to get ready for bed. All right, so number 2 actually kind of goes hand in hand with the first one, but number 2 is actually reducing the amount of electronic time right before bed. So you remember how I said melatonin can be inhibited by light? Well, blue light has the strongest inhibiting effect on melatonin, and blue lights can come from computer screens, phone screens, TV screens. Going on your phone and your computer before bed can actually keep you awake because it inhibits that melatonin. Reducing your screen time, let's say stopping half an hour to an hour before bed, can actually help you fall asleep quicker. All right, number 3. Number 3 is actually going to be caffeine intake. A lot of you guys are actually consuming caffeine too late into the day, right? So caffeine actually has a half-life of 6 hours. So this means the caffeine concentration in your blood will reduce itself by half in about 6 hours. But here's the thing. It takes another 6 hours to half the remainder. So it takes 12 hours to get to around 25% of the concentration from when you initially consumed caffeine. So anything less than the 25% caffeine concentration is fine. It's no problem going to sleep. It won't affect your sleep. But anything more than that can actually affect your sleep quality, 100%. So realistically, you shouldn't be consuming caffeine anywhere between 8 to 12 hours before you go to bed. So if you guys go to bed at midnight, you really should stop consuming caffeine anywhere between 12 and 2. Anything later than that can actually keep you awake or make it difficult to fall asleep. And even if you do fall asleep, you're not gonna have the best quality of sleep because you're still gonna have the caffeine in your system. All right, so number 4 actually goes hand in hand with number 3, but this is exercising too close to bed. The reason this is because when you exercise, your sympathetic nervous system wakes up, you become more awake, you get adrenaline in your system, and you just become more awake. And that's gonna actually make it difficult to fall asleep. And one of the things that has to occur for you to go to sleep and get good quality sleep is a decrease of adrenaline. When you fall asleep, adrenaline decreases from the normal amount. But if you exercise too close to bed, your adrenaline is gonna be too high and it's gonna be difficult to bring that down. So you're not gonna be able to fall asleep as easily. And if you do, you're just not gonna get the best quality sleep. All right, so number 5 is not getting enough sleep. Right, so the average human needs about 7 to 9 hours of sleep, the average adult. And if you aren't getting that enough sleep, you're actually gonna have a lot of problems, right? So when you sleep, there's 2 parts of sleep. You have your deep sleep, and then you have your REM sleep. So REM, rapid eye movement, is associated with dreaming, right? When you wake up in REM sleep, this is where you're dreaming, right? And then you remember your dreams. But here's the thing, deep sleep and REM sleep actually have different purposes. So deep sleep is actually very important for physical body recovery. This is crucial for working out or if you have an injury. The deep sleep will allow your body to repair itself in a way that's healthy. REM sleep is very important for emotional stability. So if you are not getting enough REM sleep, then you actually are going to be more agitated, more annoyed, more upset. Here's the thing, but how do I get more REM sleep and deep sleep, right? So on an average 8-hour sleep schedule where someone sleeps 8 hours, your first 4 hours are going to be more heavily focused on deep sleep. So the first 4 hours of your sleep are very important for physical body recovery. But science has noticed that the last half of sleep, so the last 4 hours of your sleep, you'll actually get more REM sleep. So this is very important for emotional stability. And the reason why you need long enough sleep actually has to do with memory. So the hippocampus is a structure within your brain, which is the main source of memory consolidation, right? It's crucial for memory. And studies have shown that people who are sleep deprived actually have a reduced volume of hippocampus. They have more cellular death within the hippocampus compared to the control groups. And it's actually showed with memory tests that they have a reduction of memory compared to control groups. So not getting enough sleep can actually cause cell death, specifically in your hippocampus, but most likely in other regions of your brain too, and can affect memory and emotional stability. So it's definitely important that you are getting your 7 to 8 hours, not only for physical body recovery, but also emotional recovery. All right, so number 6 is actually having a consistent sleep schedule, meaning you go to bed on the exact same time pretty much every day, and you wake up at the same time every day. So it's important to actually have consistent schedules all throughout your life, but sleep is very important because your body can't just snap and go to sleep, and it definitely can't just snap and wake up. It needs time to prepare itself for both situations. All right, so number 7 is actually going to be the temperature of your room. Your room is probably either too hot or too cold, right? Naturally, humans need a cold room to sleep. Generally speaking, it's about like 16 or 17 degrees Celsius or like 64 degrees Fahrenheit roughly for sleep, for good quality sleep. And if it's too cold, then you're gonna have a hard time falling asleep because your body's just gonna be shivering. But if it's too warm, you're also gonna have a hard time falling asleep for actually 2 reasons. So the first reason is actually going to be due to sweating. If you're too hot, you're gonna sweat, it's gonna wake you up, you're gonna be agitated, you're gonna roll around. But the second reason that is actually really cool, it has everything to do with your core body temperature. So recent studies have shown that for someone to go to bed, for someone to feel ready for bed, their core body temperature has to drop 0.5 degrees Celsius. Exactly. Studies have replicated this 0.5 degrees Celsius every single time. And it's really cool. So if you can find a way to drop your core body temperature by 0.5 degrees Celsius when you want to go to bed, you will be more likely to fall asleep. So an actual good way to do this is actually going to be taking a warm shower. Because if you take a warm shower, your blood is going to flow to your extremities, your arms and your legs. And this is actually going to leave less blood within the core of your body, right? And blood is actually very important for temperature regulation. So if you have less blood around your core, you're actually going to decrease your core temperature. But there's a caveat to that. If you take too long of a shower, then your core temperature can go up. So you have to take a, let's say like a 2 to 5 minute warm shower just to allow your core temperature to drop a little bit. All right, so number 8 is actually going to be using your bed as a place to do things throughout the day. So humans are very paired creatures. We have certain things that we associate with certain behaviors. And unconsciously, our bodies can actually do the same thing. Like for example, if you walk into the gym, before you even do any exercise, before you even get changed, your heart rate can actually increase because it's preparing for the activity you're about to undergo, right? You didn't control your heart rate just does it itself. Your body is able to adapt. So the same thing actually happens for what you associate within each room, right? So your bed should be associated with sleep and sleep only. If you're lying in your bed, staying awake throughout the day on your computer, doing whatever, when you try to go to bed, your brain is just going to associate the bed with everyday activity, and it's not going to associate with sleep. So you're actually going to have a hard time staying awake. And then vice versa, because you're sleeping in your bed, you actually may not stay awake or stay as motivated doing work in your bed. So it's best to find a separate space, a desk, a table, a couch, some sort where you can actually do work during the day. Don't touch your bed during the day, and then when nighttime comes around, you can hop into your bed, let's say read a book, and then you go to bed. All right, so we just went over 8 reasons why you're probably having difficulty sleeping, but there's one extra point I want to mention, and it's not about what you're doing wrong, but something you could possibly implement into your life. So remember previously I was talking about how melatonin is actually a neurotransmitter that is important for falling asleep. I also mentioned that previous study which showed the lack of sleep can actually affect your hippocampus and your memory, right? Well, that same study looked at those effects with supplements of melatonin. So not enough sleep, but having melatonin. And they actually showed to negate the effects. So they had less hippocampal degradation compared to the non-melatonin group. And they had equal scores in their memory tests compared to the control group with proper sleep. Though I don't recommend you just replacing sleep with melatonin because your body actually does physically need sleep. Though if there's certain periods where you find you're having less sleep, so taking melatonin supplements may actually be very beneficial for you. Maybe you can give it a go if all these other tips don't work. All right, thanks for watching the video. If you guys have any questions or any comments, post them in the comments below. And if you like this video, hit the like button and don't be afraid to subscribe as I post every second Friday of any videos based off productivity or what's going on in my life. So I'll see you in the next video.